Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the, final episode of Season 1 for Gen V. I am the Guardian, Travis Snell, and I'm joined by...
Gangnam Style, Taylor Field.
Yes, we are here for the Season 1 finale. Luckily, we got Season 2 confirmed, so not a series finale, not are we on the bubble, and that's a good thing, because there's quite a few interesting things that happened in this episode, so we're going to get back into it, or down to it, whatever the fuck I'm talking about. As usual, everything you need to know is down below, the links, the video, the audio, where to find us, the Discord, etc. But most importantly, unless you're listening to this in the 3 hours before it turns to midnight, Friday, it should be Friday when you're listening to this, and the Extra Life charity stream is 24 hours from now, or something like that. It's the next day. It's on Saturday. 24-hour stream for BC Children's Hospital, 10 a.m. PST to 10 a.m. PST the next day. Tons of events, trivia, dodgeball, poker, dirty charades, a bunch of gaming. Really, and hell, we're revealing our movie title, poster, a teaser trailer. It's our most packed Extra Life, most variety as far as Extra Life goes. So check that out. Lots of good tiers as far as if we unlock things. Me and Taylor will do a tortilla fight. Tortilla slap fight. We'll do some karaoke to the Barbie soundtrack. We're gonna do some waxing. The Hunka Hunka Boys will come back. We're gonna do. Hey, if you like Gen V and you like Sam seeing these puppets, if you can get us to $2,000, we're gonna do a whole puppet cast where we will be replaced by a puppet. We'll do a newscast and it'll be a puppet in all of our places. That would be a great time. So go over there, click the link down below. You can get the shirt that is gonna be on sale for a couple more days, and then that's gone forever. All the proceeds go towards there. If you just donate directly, it's tax deductible. And then, if you can donate even $5, $2, $1, that'd be great. And if you can't, we completely understand. But it would be nice if you could share the link, come like it, come watch that day. We'd appreciate it. Helps with algorithms, helps to get out there. Maybe someone can donate and you can't, get them in that direction. And we just really appreciate it if you could just support us in some way, because we know we do a lot of content, and you guys in that download button supports us. On Patreon, you support us a lot, so we very much appreciate it. But this is a bit of a bigger thing because it's towards helping families and kids in needs and people that really need it. So it's a fun time. It's our biggest event every year, and we do it for a good cause. So yes, Taylor Field, what did you think about the finale of season 1 of Gen V? Obviously, non-spoiler thoughts first.
I always get excited when we get to a finale because I feel like we're gonna get some cool extra things that are just gonna kind of seep into the episode, and this was definitely just that. I feel like we got some extra things sprinkled in here that I really appreciated. It felt a little rushed though, and not enough to really be a negative, but it definitely felt rushed in terms of concluding, and I can live with that. I do like how they tackled certain things. While I don't feel like things were necessarily wrapped up by any means, I feel like it's a can of worms, and it's gonna whatever. However, this segues into the next season of The Boys. I'm sure it'll be interesting to see where that picks up things. But yeah, like I'm glad that we had the things happen in the previous week's episode, because I think that definitely put things out there where, okay, it wrapped things up a little bit as it put those things out there. And so this one was just kind of taking advantage of the chaos. And again, like I said, rushed, expedited. I feel like they were really taking advantage of this chaos and running with it. And yeah, there's not a lot of like story development here. It's really just cut and dry and like to the point, and like I said, fast. So I don't have much else I can say, non spoilers.
Yeah. I guess I can agree to an extent. I think it does feel fast. I don't know if I have any issue, like I don't have any like major issues that are like, oh, this is a big problem. Other than, yeah, they could have slowed down, took their time a little bit, especially with the ending. But I think that's been one thing with this whole season. I think luckily at the beginning of season 2, I feel maybe they'll feel like, okay, the show's successful, we could take our time, because there's certain storylines that were rushed in this year that we talked about. So I'm definitely a little used to that. Not saying that, oh, I'm numb to it, so it's not rushed. It's just that luckily I think this go around, there's nothing major that was a con. There are some some things that I was like, okay, this is why we did that because you guys wanted to go in this direction at this point. Okay, I do agree that slowing it down wouldn't have been bad. So maybe like another 5 to 10 minutes, probably 10 minutes more like it. But I still had a great time with this episode. They definitely were going, I think, for the more action-oriented type of finale. I feel like shows usually do that, right? They either like in the superhero action comic booky genre, fantastical sci-fi. It's usually if it's not the finale, it's the penultimate episode like Game of Thrones used to do. Like, okay, we're gonna go balls to the wall, and that's what this was here. I think there was lots of good moments here. A few surprises, both plot and just reveals, which were good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think knowing this as a season 2, I guess I'm probably less harsh on it. If we didn't have that confirmed, I'd be really like, okay, we need that confirmed. And even then, like it's fair that okay, if you were to say, hey, is this a story that bookends from a season, 1, and you could watch it as its own thing? Not really. I guess you could in a sense and just think, oh, these some of these questions will never be answered. But I think that it's not a closed chapter, but we already got season 2, right? And there's many shows that do that. Maybe you could argue for its first season, it should have picked a different path. And we take some big leaps here. I think you and I, especially with some of our, I don't know, predictions, but just thoughts of where it could go, at least myself, we're completely wrong, which is mostly in a good way, kind of surprising in boys' fashion. So, yeah, no, overall, I liked it. I thought it was good. I don't think it's like one of the best episodes this season, but as a finale, I'm satisfied. So that's all I'm wanting pretty much. So yeah, that's where I am. So anything else, non-spoilers?
Nope.
Okay, so we're gonna take our first break. Then when we're back, I don't know what I was gonna say. We'll jump into this finale. It's a long day, lots of extra life prep. 2 casts. This is our last 2 casts back to back Thursday. I'm excited for that because I like having both Loki and this at the same time. I just wish they were different days. It would be.
I agree.
It'd be nice.
It's nice though. It's early. It's not like this and then the midnight launch.
Oh yeah, my God. But yeah, who knows? So we will be right back. And we are back. So it is. What?
And we are
back here in the moonlight. So it was pandemonium. And that's where I guess I will agree with it being rushed. Where okay, that teacher was killed, and they're all like, "Okay, what are we gonna do? What's gonna happen?" And it feels like there's very little conversation, and then we just jump to it. Like I said, is pandemonium. The people from the woods are being released. Our main characters don't know what to do. Sam's running amok. We're getting Ashley trying to make all these decisions and stuff. But I do think they did capture a good bounce or a good feel for, hey, this is a shit show. Like it did feel like, I think some shows they try to make that feeling where they're like, oh my God, like we're lacking time. The wall, the pressure of the walls are against us. There's all this momentum moving in an opposite way. And the immovable force meeting the immovable object meaning the unstoppable force. I think they did a good job of shit has gone awry real fast. So I think that's where I guess for the majority of this episode was the action and that stuff. And I didn't really have any issues with the action. I thought they had some good like soup on soup action. We got a fun reveal that Maverick is actually Translucent's kid, and we got to see a fight scene there. We got to see Maria and other people use their powers in different ways. So I was, for the action portion, I was pretty happy with all of it.
Yeah, I am too. I think that they did a good job showing all just the conflict and the engagements between the heroes, and it definitely goes 1 to 100 for sure. And like I said, things expedite. And it was very cool to see how certain things kind of unfold and how Kate really is at the core of this, just kind of chaos. And we'll talk more about it, but just not the characters from the woods that she rescued, but just how she's influencing other people too. And just how it's both sides, where you have Ashley and Vought just like, hey, you kill these kids, we'll make you in the 7. It's like,
yeah.
Oh my God. So you just have a lot of conflict going on. And I like that. I thought it was very intense to see. And the only downside to the conflict was I felt like certain characters were just pacing back and forth. Like Kate clearly was on a mission, but she's walking this way. Oh, now she's walking back to go see Marie, and like
I
it
guess
just
her
felt
goal
weird.
is it's just I don't know. Like it's just cause chaos, right? I guess that's just what Kate's doing.
Yeah, I think
so.
so. Yeah, because she's turning regular students into like, yo, go kill them, go kill
Yeah.
humans.
So yeah, and that's where Kate. I'm very happy she didn't get killed because I was worried for a second she was gonna bite it there just because near the end it is going a certain route. We got Andre. He came back from his dad to help out because he's just getting this phone call of like, oh, shit's happening, and we should run away together and be all this and stuff. It's interesting because if you'll know the story, it's one of my favorite stories. There's a moment in Batman's Hush between Catwoman and Batman, and the reason why they don't end up together. And it's very similar here about Kate and Andre. But what I was looking for is like he wouldn't take her hand, and I know she was kind of like, oh right, but like I felt like it was odd that she was just seemed like that's where there was some disconnect, and that's where whether it's rush or I will say maybe some poor writing. So maybe as we're talking about, I have a bit more negatives. I didn't buy that Kate wouldn't want Sam to kill him. Like I kind of feel like even if Kate and like even if Andre's can't trust her and turning her away, I don't know if I bought what they set up Kate to be so far as someone that would just be like, fuck, like just kill him anyways, you know? So I thought that was kind of against her character. I get that they're being like, she's being like uber evil right now and she's doing her Magneto, bad Xavier thing right now. But I guess I didn't buy that. And even then, I feel like he's still warranted to, even if he wanted, he was pitching to go with her. So it's not like she pitched that and he put out his hand and then he didn't grab it. He was still saying that he would run away with her. He just didn't feel comfortable grabbing her hand yet because of obvious stuff. So I felt like that was a rush thing where you've been pulling the wool over his eyes for like the past few months now. So I feel like he's justified not wanting to grab your hand right now, right? So
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
her eyes are blood red. Like she's not in a sane condition. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna touch your hand. Like, she can't blame him, but she's also really lost control. She
Yeah.
feels like she's ascended. The medications are holding her back and all that. And I do think I'm just impressed to see actually how powerful she is because I. f- she, you see her at the beginning of the show and it doesn't seem like it's a super powerful power that she has, but you see her development as a character, how she grows and she's breaking her chains and she becomes a force to be reckoned with. Like, it's insane. So I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, and unfortunately, she's lost an arm. We'll go over a bunch of stuff. We're out of order, but I guess we just focus on Kate here because yeah, she had that. Sure, good little. I thought too, which would have been cool. I think it was a missed opportunity that Sam's freaking out at one point, and she's, "Oh, you want my help?" And the reason he's freaking out is because he's seeing his dead brother talk to him. So obviously, not a normal thing to see. I thought because she could read minds, she was gonna pick up on that, and I thought that would have been kind of cool for her to also see Golden Boy because it's just like seeing
They
the.
start talking.
No, no, not. Well, I guess you could have that because you could have that. She's using Sam's mind to communicate with that. I think they've set her up enough that she could do that. But either way, she seems like she has this very. I think it will. I don't know. We're far away from season 2, but I already get this sense that they're setting up Kate almost to be like a Pamela Voorhees figure with Sam, like the way like,
Yeah.
oh, can I can make you feel better, I can take the pain away, and he just gave in really quick, like yeah, and then after that, it just seemed like they were a fucking gruesome twosome. So that's where it felt like where he's Jason and she's Pamela Voorhees, and because like she's still like a calming person, she's been through few things that he has as far as being controlled. They lost people. She's like a good looking girl too. So I don't know if they're gonna go that route because now it seems like him and Emma are done, and we'll get to that in a second. I don't know if they're gonna go that route. I think I'd like the more almost like motherly role between these two. So I really like that. But yeah, so they were fighting. Andre took Sam out with a taser, which I was also kind of surprised about. I thought they were building up Sam to be a bit more powerful than just like a mere taser could take you out.
I don't know about mirror taser. Like, Andre juiced the shit out of him with that taser, like
Yeah,
maximum.
I guess. I just saw a couple episodes ago. We were like, man, what's gonna stop Sam? Like we were talking about, like he could be facing off with a Homelander, but it's like, Homelander could fuck with this kid. Like he could take him down. So I was kind of surprised by that, but that's fine. It's never a bad thing to have as like Homelander be the one uber god character. So they fight. They get unconscious. And like you were talking about, Ashley makes this deal. Ashley, again, that actress, just fucking great. I know you can never do just like a solo episode, but every time she's on scene or on screen, she delivers. I love when that director is breaking in and he's like, "Oh, let me in, or I'll tell you about the bathroom. I'll tell all the things we did." And there's like, "We're already opening the door. Just stop talking." Like they're already like had removed several things, and he was still going. But like Taylor said, she said, okay, kill someone, you're in the 7, and you can see your sister too, which is the bigger thing, right? Maria
Mhm.
tells Kate the scenario, and it's funny, she tells us the scenario, and then they like break off for 10 minutes, and they come back, and it's almost like the scene never ended. It's like the exact same conversation of like, what are we gonna do? We can't live normal lives. Like, oh, I'm trying to make it so you don't have to, like, so you can't have a normal life. You're just a product. So Kate and her are going back and forth because pretty much Maria has been told to kill her, and Kate's saying there's no way out of this. You have to do this, or what's gonna happen, right? So they start to, well, actually, they get Maverick to go after him, like we said, Translucent Sun. That fighting's happening, and then at one point, Jordan's coming to get back with Maria. They have this moment, and then you can see, which I don't even know if it was needed per se, because Kate starts to reach out to Jordan, and Jordan sees her. Jordan's like already like leaning back. I feel like Jordan could have done a 1-2 step and like fucking just knock her out, but Maria takes it on her own ability, probably just because she's scared. It's her love interest, right? She blows off fucking one of Kate's arms. She didn't lose them both, right? So that's where it's like she
Mhm.
still has that ability. But then there was some shock there. But I feel like that was the like if we're talking about this in an X-Men sort of way to make it in a reference, you've seen it was like X-Men First Class when Magneto takes that quarter and kills that guy. And it's like the official breaking of Xavier. I feel like her exploding her hand, maybe it's not the end forever, but it's the end of their relationship for the foreseeable future, of them getting along. I don't think they're going to, like, maybe there's a something they can bond over again in the future to join forces, but I feel like for a while now they will not be, they will be opposed. And I could see even Kate just wanting to kill her because it felt like they were trying to get Kate to be more just pure sadistic near the last 10 minutes of this episode, which I don't necessarily love. I liked her having more shades, but I do like the Kate character, so it's fine if they wanted to break her at that point. Maybe next season she regrets things. I don't know. I'm willing to see how they write it. And again, maybe that's why it's rushed, or we have issues with rush. Maybe if it was less rushed, it'd feel more natural. But yeah, what did you feel
Mhm.
about Maria and Kate's face off here? And Kate having a very unfortunate, that guy lost his penis. Hopefully she can grow, just ignore it like the guy ignored his penis, because this guy's doing fucking TikToks at the beginning of that episode. I'm telling you, a
He's
week
perfectly
removed
fine.
a week removed from me losing my penis, I ain't doing fucking TikToks. I can promise you that. My God.
Um, yeah, I think that their relationship is axed for the time being. I mean, that hand that looked so painful. Not just like the
Exactly.
bone was gone. The bone exploded. Like
Yeah.
not just the blood in the skin. The bone was gone. So that's just brutal, 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 brutal. Um, yeah, I'm imagining that their relationship needs a lot of work, but I think that they really set the scene up for something to happen because when Jordan, when Jordan was walking towards Marie, you could see that as they were walking, okay, something is going to happen here. The way the camera was positioned, something was going to go on. I was not expecting Kate, and Marie gave Kate plethora of opportunities to do the right thing and to turn around and stop this madness, but
Mhm.
like she just kept going up and up and up. And because of the connection between Jordan and Marie, I definitely do not blame her instinct to just nuke her hand, but the fact
Yeah.
that she does have her other hand still available, and that was her because she's right-handed, I think, and I believe that was
It was her
Kate's left
left hand.
hand
Yeah.
that blew
Well,
up. Yeah, so I
just
think
think that
the
much. You just have to touch somebody. It's not like a
yeah
fucking secret handshake. You just go, hey, do this. Like, and plus, like the way she can read minds without touching people, I still thought there was a chance that they were gonna blow off both of them, and you can even still have, which it would be tough for the actress, but like because these people, I don't know if they can. I don't know if it's like X-Men where they can still learn more or evolve. She can read people's minds without touching them. So I was just wondering if there was a way for her to get like strengthen her powers, just even mind wise, right? I'm not even seeing just mind control people, but the way Xavier could do things, maybe she could just mind control people, right? Like that could be a threat, but maybe not. But I think they kept her one hand there for reasons so she could still do this stuff, right? So unfortunate. And I wonder if she'll get like a fake arm next season, so the actress doesn't have to like just have a green screen sock around her arm all the time. Maybe she won't. They could like put a prosthetic or something. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah. I just to kind of cap off with Cape there, when she was back in the woods just fraying people, and how she told that one guy like eat your hand. It's like fuck. Oh,
Oh
he's
my!
just biting his hand and he's
It's just
screaming as
the
he's doing it.
oh, oh my
Oh,
god! And that's where
that's
again
horrible.
she's just like so dangerous, and that's where it's so good. And like I do buy that aspect. I just think they took away her human emotions really quickly. So I will say, yeah, that is something that again maybe another negative, but we'll just talk about it now because this is like the main thing. We'll get to the other stuff. It ties in with that scene. Um, and that's where again I wonder how people feel. I'd love to talk to people because I know you and me aren't like that way, and like Mike, I see you in the chat. I don't think you were that way. I'd love to talk to people that are over connectivity in MCU and DC universes that like the boys and now because like literally the conflict of this show gets resolved by a main character of another one who just swoops in. And honestly, it's so funny because I saw this post when the Gen V was starting, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but I see points of it. And the post and it was like a trending tweet or like liked a lot, and I just saw it was like the boys is becoming more like the MCU than you care to admit, and I feel like this ending right here is like something we've pitched as like a bad thing of like in a superhero's project, and then like a god tier superhero just lands and stops it. I don't know how I feel about it because I do love seeing Homelander. Homelander is one of the best characters I think of all time. He has so much layers, right? Anthony Starr does a great job portraying him. I like him being in there. I like the idea of, oh, you're hurting your kind. We've talked about that before where it feels like there's going to be like a civil war, right? Of, soups against soups that don't want, like, soups against the, I'll just call them like terror soups that just want to kill anybody that's not for the cause, right? So I
Hmm.
get what they're doing. They're doing a civil war, but it it is strange. Like, imagine if you just watched Gen V, and like, I know it's not the case, but if you did, it's in that MCU category where I feel like you can't just watch it by yourself anymore. Like it's something that you
Hmm.
have to watch the boys. So I feel that it's tough where you just I like him being there is great. I like to incorporate it. I maybe just wish that maybe they had him do that, but just to like characters we didn't care about per se. Like I know it sounds weird, but just have it as like a fun cameo. Because even we get the Butcher cameo, that really does nothing. He just walks in the frame and says, "What a bunch of cunts," and it's just like
Well, he's
that's
investigating the woods, right?
yeah, but the woods is done. It's over. So like, what's he gonna learn? Oh, they were treating soups like shit and experimenting them on. Like big fucking whoop. Like we know that's what like Vought was proven to be fucking like giving kids drugs. So it's not like oh my god, Vaught's bad. So I just feel like both of them were a bit fan servicey. And even though I like it, I like that they show okay these characters will be in there. I think they should have the main characters their dispute end in a certain way, and then maybe Homelander just as a fun cameo takes out some fucking guy on the side or something like that. I'm not sure. How did you feel about the two cameos here?
Um, I was hoping we get Homelander. I really, really was. I wasn't sure in what context, and when he swoops in, I just love the music is heroic, but then the music changes, like the band, like
Yeah.
yeah, and as he lands, and like this is the first time we get to really interact with him since he did go off the rails and his son was
Yeah.
attacked in the last season. So to see his character now, you like he's unpredictable. You really don't know, and he doesn't disappoint. When you think like, oh, is he? I genuinely thought he was going to help, and he was going to be pissed off, but yeah, when he looks at Marie and just says like stop, and then moves his like finger left, right, like don't fuck. Oh,
Yeah.
that's not good. And so yeah, he lasers her. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Like, yeah, what kind of animal are you? Attacking your own kind. And oh my god. So I don't think he disappointed at all. I think it was very fitting. I liked seeing how sadistic he was watching the TV screen of the news reporter. Like, oh yeah, these 4 students went on a killing massacre. It's like, oh
Mm.
god, the bloody Vought news. Jeez Louise.
And you think it's fine though that the main character's issues get resolved by a character that is just completely of a different show though? Like that's not an issue for you?
Uh I'm biased because I've seen the other shows, and
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
that you're going. It doesn't reveal necessarily a lot about Homelander because he's got the nervous tick, but like you're gonna, Homelander exists in this universe. So when you're gonna watch this show and see Homelander, yes, he's an outside force. It's gonna resolve the characters' issues that you've grown to like these characters. So the characters you've developed with, their problem is fixed by an outside character, not in this show yet. I understand that being a problem to the GA, but then
Mm.
hopefully that tempts the GA to think like, hey, let's go watch and see what's going on with this character. Why did Homelander do this? And then you can see everything going on and maybe learn more about this world. And I think that Gen V is definitely that gateway into expanding on here because people don't know Translucent died, and not until like they hear like, oh, in the corporate meeting, like, oh, Translucent died, let's get his son Maverick in here onto the seven, like, oh really? And then you're gonna watch season 1 and be like, oh,
You
Translucent,
better
okay,
not be a
here's how he
pervert
died.
like his
Yeah,
dad.
or even Butcher walking at the end, people are gonna be like, oh, who is this character? This is kind of, is he like another Soup or what's going on? And so then people are probably gonna watch The Boys. I think that these were just some really big Easter eggs that were put in. And again, you have the main opposer and the main like not protagonist, but two of the main like forces that to be reckoned with against each other from The Boys, featuring cameos here. So I think that's their breadcrumb to kind of send people sniffing off to The Boys show.
All right, I'll agree with Mike here. He says I like the idea, but it felt really choppy. Like they didn't know if Stark could get there until last minute, possibly. And plus, like, yeah, they weren't on the. I don't think they were on the same set together because they don't. They're not. They're not in any shots together. That it just goes back and forth, and that's fine. It's okay if you do that. But yeah, it did feel just a little copy and paste. But I will say, at least for what we talk about, like, oh, what does this mean for the Boys and Homelander? Shows like obviously it said, will he go to trial? I don't think they had said that. I know they said it's before season 4, but I don't think they've said that how much time has taken place since he blew the guy's head off. So it might be very recent, right? Like we haven't got that timestamp, have we?
I don't think so.
So the way I'm taking it is that it's very still recent because I feel like eventually, like after too long, you would go to trial or there'd be him locked up or that would be resolved. So I feel like it's a recent. I feel like with that moment again with him with the finger shake and the way he's talking, that feels very much like when we get Homelander in private. And I feel like this shows that he is again kind of what last season set up. He's the way he acts in private, he's now going to be acting in person for the most part. I don't think he'll be as violent, but it looks like he's pretty close to that. Like he's definitely not that perfect, well-kept Homelander that he had been before, right? Or tried to. So we're at that moment where he's dangerous. They're still calling him though. So that's where again I'm very curious to see the dynamics of season 3 of who's with him, who's against him. So I guess and what they could do for Butcher wise, the thing they could result it. Well, no, I think his boss would. Right? I was gonna say, would he use like he went to go look into the woods and that's how he finds out about this like Soup's killing weapon, but at the same time I feel like his boss would probably let him know that. Maybe not, she did tell her to forget it, so maybe that's the reason he's there. He gets some fucking investigation stuff and that's what he used to take out Homelander. So we'll see. It's cooler there. I'm not disappointed. I just felt like, oh, it's a interesting choice because like the choice is like you said, you do that, you jump to the news saying, oh, those 4 killed people, these 2 are hero, then you jump to them in jail cell and that's it. That's what's like, this is really fast. Even to the point where like, why we like Emma was not on the field at all. So like why was she I guess she's like their friends, so they just throw in, but it just was that's a disconnect of okay, everyone else was knocked out and unconscious. Emma was somewhere else small. She's just locked up. Okay. And then even Sam, they're like, oh, and here's this here, okay. And then Sam, it's like, but like no one knows who Sam is. I'm not even saying that like, oh, the whole world, but just like using him in the public, it's like he's been declared dead for like I guess we don't know what the public record was, but multiple characters thought he was dead. So I feel like Golden Boy under his trance still would have talked about his dead brother. So I just feel like between Sam being on the news as a hero, which Sam was pretty much erased from existence, and then Emma, who was not at the battle at all, both having their fates kind of just thrown up on the news, I will say that also felt a little tad rushed of
It was
like
it really was.
not eye roll eyebrow raising.
Yeah, no, it really, really was. Again, I just attribute it to Vought News can make up any narrative they want, and yeah, Emma being in there, uh, they could have just. I'm headcanon myself that okay, they sat Kate down, they sat Sam down, and they basically said, yeah, these are the people you need to watch out for. These are the opposing people that were trying to stop us. And they need to be under lock and key. That would make the most sense to me. They're also the group of them are the only ones who know about the woods, and so maybe they're still trying to keep that a secret. So yeah, that's how I'm headcanning it.
And I guess the woods is probably not like because Butcher's there. It's not functioning at all. Well, I don't know. Like, do you think the school's functioning at all? Because if Butcher's there,
No, I think the school's not functioning.
So school's just done. So that's interesting. Gen V, just that whole school concept only got 1 season and it's pretty much done, you know? So like I said, I'll always have that as like a minor disappointment because I wish we got more with that. But and maybe they'll just say there's a new school. Maybe they'll do something like that. But I just wish that I don't know. I wish there was more content there with some school shenanigans, but that's fine. We still got a good amount. So,
Yeah.
um, anything
Um,
on? Oh, go ahead.
well, you mentioned Emma. I'll touch upon that real quick. She did
Yeah.
not puke. She exhibited maybe a new part of her power where she just was able to shrink instantly.
Yeah. I would hope because, like, I guess the only thing you could say is because she was crying, maybe something happened there. But I feel like this is
Right.
showing like actual motion can control it. So I think in the future they will establish that she could get to her core and have her emotion control when she gets big or little, and that's it, and get
Hmm.
more in touch with that. I don't know if they'll try and. I think they might try and tie that to like the same way they made her powers like about being kind of anorexic, right? And maybe it's like, oh, food, whether it's eating food or not eating food, that's not going to help your life. Like controlling your emotions and how you feel about things in yourself is actually what you would do to help yourself instead of the food. Or of course you still eat, but you know what I mean. And that's where I wonder if they're trying to get to there where it was an emotional outburst, but much like X-Men, when that happens, emotional outbursts like lead to bigger powers. So maybe she will
Hmm.
hone that. But yeah, I was caught off guard, and I was just caught off guard. We didn't return back to her at all till the last
The
shot. I
end.
get it that she was
Yeah.
small, but she's done stuff before as small, and it's like she's been an asset. So yeah, her and Sam. I'm torn on that relationship because I'll just say, and this is where, because we were talking about the finale, I'll just say that whole relationship was rushed overall. I still liked the relationship from point A, from the meeting to them hooking up to being pretty much a couple to them breaking up and just having this huge outbreak, outbreak or whatever. I don't know what the fuck word I'm looking for, but I feel like that was the entire storyline, had good aspects to it, but they really, really went through it on quite a fast pace just because they knew this is where it was going to end up. I still think there's like a version where you could have her not arrested and have her still in the school or doing whatever or wherever, or be out free, and her and Sam not be a thing, but just that there's something going on there, and she knows they've been bad. But like, cause like we have no one on the outside now; they're all locked up. So I feel like you could have done that, but I got what they're going for. But I think that again, I'm torn because I liked the content we got, but I just think they cycled through it quite a bit from the entire season.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I would agree with that.
Superman Mike says she gets big when she feels confident, and small when she feels insecure. What I got from that. Okay, that could be true. Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah.
I still feel that they will have her hone it in a way at some point because I just don't feel like she's gonna either feel those feelings each time or have to eat or throw up every time. Like I think she's gonna find a way, but maybe not. We'll see. But yeah, that works. So, but yeah, anything more to add on Emma or Sam? Emma wasn't really in this episode that much, unfortunately. I feel like Kate, like I said before, Kate was the most interesting character to me. Emma was my favorite, but I definitely feel like in these last three episodes, unfortunately, she kind of got put on the back burner, and I think that is because they focused a lot on soup stuff and the boys stuff. And that's where I will say, actually, like with the Newman and Butcher and Homelander, and even though they're in their small amounts, like Butcher's boss, I feel like there's aspects that I do like of that, but I would almost then say make it a longer episode. It's already long enough, but I feel like Emma did get kind of shortchanged near the end of this for other stuff going on.
She did. Yeah, and again, her scene with Sam, it was rushed and it was very quick. There's a lot more going on with Sam that I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to have seen more of the dynamic between Sam and Golden Boy. I really liked him just
Hmm.
appearing there as this manifestation, talking, and I loved when that moment came down when it was Kate and Golden Boy was just talking to him, and they were having that. I wish we got more of that, and maybe just spread over the course of a few episodes. I would have swapped a puppet scene for more Golden Boy interacting with
Mm.
him. That would have
Yeah.
been nice. But that's not the case that we've had. I also did like the scene where Kate basically just erased and made him numb, and he's just like, I like this. This is
Yeah.
great. And it made it very, very terrifying, very scary. So,
Yeah, let's see. So we talked about those two. We talked about Maria again. Ashley, just like the switch where literally Ashley was kind of working with Maria and our people, just like, hey, kill them, and then you'll be with us. And then literally the second they get a chance to change the narrative and throw them in a jail cell, they do.
probably not her choice. I bet Homelander is like, Ashley, they're going to throw him in a fucking cell or something like that.
Possibly, but Ashley is someone that also goes where the tide sways, right? But it is, I'm very curious. You could be right because remember Ashley last season, she did her first ever like not listen to Homelander, right? Wasn't it like she could have revealed like Queen Maeve's location or something like that, and she didn't.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so it's like you're right that it maybe Ashley didn't have something to do with it. So I'll be curious to see where she goes for the boys. Andre, dad seems like he's gonna make it. Wasn't much there going on. He left them and then had a conversation with Kate. Jordan just was doing action this episode. Not much like him and Maria. Them and Maria didn't even like share a kiss or anything this episode. You know, it was very. They're just kind of around kicking butt. You know, that was that
Yeah.
was about it. I don't think there's anybody else we're missing. They established that they had, the I did like when the people from the woods broke out and that first interaction, like, are you a soup? No, no, I'm just like a teacher here, blah blah. And then they just grab them in the face, just melt their face.
Melts it.
Yeah, Mike.
Jesus.
Not a way to go. We get to see that one human fuck up that soup. He was well prepared,
Yeah,
But
I'm off
then,
my crutches, I'm feeling good. And
Yeah.
just nukes her head.
yeah, and then Kate took him out, so that was a good role reversal there. But yeah, like I said, that kind of pandemonium was good. But that's what I was saying, that they showed that they had the sound like a venom sound and control the soups. But then there was a guy that also had his own sonic sound in his mouth, so he broke that and hurt the humans. I'm trying to think if there's any more cool action stuff.
What
but-
was that? I can't remember the guy's name, but when Kate first went down the woods with Sam, and then the guy's like, "Oh, Kate, you haven't been down here for a while." Hi, Bob. And he's like, "Oh, I'm Adam."
Oh yeah.
And then Sam just walks in and fucking punches his head in. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
destroys him from the brain within. So
Mhm.
yeah. So anything else we haven't talked about?
Talked about Homelander. I guess there is the whole admission from Polarity to Andre, just he knew about the woods, he was trying to keep him safe and whatever, and how he
Mhm.
wanted to have his suit resized up for Andre.
Yeah.
There was the mention too that Polarity's problems were long time growing every time he uses his powers, and then they were instigating that maybe Andre could be subject to this too, because if there are certain tics that Andre has, and I feel like we've seen Andre like play with his fingers or like twitch his finger a lot,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that they were implying, like maybe he does have the same condition, maybe he shouldn't
Yeah.
be using his powers as well. So who knows if they'll pursue that or anything. I just thought it was interesting, and we got kind of like a semi-conclusive thing with Polarity here. It seems like he's definitely not, I mean, he's still an asshole, but he definitely was trying to turn over a new leaf here in his waking
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah, exactly. Seems like he's had like at least a come to Jesus, and he's again, like you said, he was more primarily just trying to protect his son, not so much like, oh, I'm down to like experiment on all these kids and everything. So I think they'll touch upon some of the stuff you talked about with the suit and the powers. So well, obviously they're both alive, and I imagine maybe they gave him more good guy route because he's gonna wonder where his son is, because Jordan, not a good relationship with his parents or their parents. Emma, different, because not a good relationship with her mom, but they still were relatively trying to be close at time. Like it just felt like they did have a relationship at one point, and they just got annoyed because the power stuff. But Maria doesn't have parents. Andre's dad's there, so I feel like I guess there's a couple parents, but I feel like they're setting up because Andre also knows about some of the shady stuff, so he would know. Okay, something's going on with my son, because they didn't say that they died, right? The attackers. They just said that they were the attackers, or did they
They
say
just
they?
said they were attackers. Yeah, they
Yeah.
didn't say what their fate was.
Exactly, right? So that's where it's kind of kept up to potential season. So I could see him poking his nose around. But again, because like I said, other than them breaking out, there's no characters out in the wild of them that were free. They're all captured. That's where I thought Emma could have been that one that was free, but we'll see. Mike says Jordan really got the short end of the stick this episode. Yeah, I agree. And I think not to the same extent of Emma, but I think same thing last 3 episodes, taking a little bit of a back burner as well too. That's where I still was like, I'll see where it goes, but there's still vibes of this where I feel like this could have been a season 2 finale or lasting plot line. I still would have been down for a big issue to close out season 1, but it'd still be the school, be up and running and centric. There's more of just the dating between, even Emma and Sam, but Jordan and Maria, I would like to see just some more dynamics, even more time to spend with like figuring out what they're going to do with Kate, but it did feel a little rushed more towards the end. So, but is there anything else we haven't touched upon you want to talk about before we rate this season?
I don't think so. I think that's
Okay.
it.
Then, sir, what would you give this season out of 10?
I like the show a lot more than I thought I was going to. I realized watching this how much I actually miss the boys, and I really appreciate the character development and the the story that they were putting out with this show. Ultimately, though, and I think you were alluding to this, I would have loved to have seen more post-secondary school hijinks and kind of stuff going on with these supers and their powers and then handling them. I would have liked things to not have rushed as quickly as they did. And I think that's why I mean, I'm still really like ranking the show high. I'm going to go probably an 8 out of 10, but those 2 points are just the fact that, yeah, we're already done with the post-secondary school, Godolkin University, and now we are also at the end after what was a really good steady rate of development. Just this finale episode certainly acts things really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a full negative way, but in a negative enough way that I'm docking at a point. So that's that. I still had a great time. I really enjoyed going through this show and seeing how things were kind of unfolding, and just to see this world building show on top of The Boys and what we got with The Boys. And I cannot wait for the next season of The Boys. I'm ready for it. Seeing Homelander and Butcher just put me there. I'm ready to go.
Also, one thing we forgot to mention, I was very curious for a second, and they're talking about, oh, we got to get a new member of the Seven. I guess you mentioned that with Translucent, but I thought it was almost going to happen there too, especially when they're talking about Maria, like taking out Kate and everything. When the arm exploded, I thought, oh, it won't kill Kate, but this will be a way that they could take her and demobilize her, and Maria could go to the Seven. So it's like, oh man, this is going to happen, and obviously it didn't. And who knows, even if Homelander's on the Seven now. But so an 8 out of 10 for you.
8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm about there. Mike, we'll answer your question there in a second. I see, because it's a good one. Yeah, I'm an 8 out of 10 as well. I think that I'm less so on. As we talked about it, actually more. I felt this finale was more rushed, but overall, I still enjoyed it. There are just, like I said, aspects with the show overall that are just rushed. I think they went by really fast on a few items, and that's where I don't think it's exact same writers, but The Boys never feels that way. The Boys, for the most part, feels like it kind of crescendos on a nice rate. I think with this, lots of relationships were introduced and then broken apart really quickly, same with some reveals, but we got some good stuff. We also got that, to me, dreadful episode 4 that just sucked. I think it was episode 4, whatever, that had who was the fucking hole guy that liked to fuck holes and everything.
He was the detective guy. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was episode 4, and not just because he fucked the holes, but yeah, that episode to me was like the lowest The Boys and Gen V's ever been. I was really worried. Luckily, we got from there. So a solid foundation, some really good stuff. There's definitely a couple episodes. I think one in particular that I thought was like, oh, that could be like a top 10 episode of this whole series. So some big highs, some big lows, but I think there was more highs and like wins than there was losses and big losses. So yeah, that's where I am. Same thing, 8 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. I had a good time with this. I will be excited for season 2. I will be excited for The Boys, which is hopefully next year, but I'm not sure if the writer or the actor strike is gonna mess with that. So who knows? It might be a couple of years from now, though. But yeah, I again really enjoyed it. I do like this universe, and I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. Let's see. Superman Mike says it was 8 out of 10 for him, but it would have been 8.5. The finale was a rush. And then he also asked, how long into season 2 do you think they stay in the prison? Taylor Field, how long do you think that our characters are stuck in prison for?
I kind of feel like this is a like a Chucky TV show scenario where the first season is out and about, kind of in a general area, and then season 2 is focused on spoilers, but it's focused on like a care facility. That's where mostly all of it takes place, except for like a couple of the end episodes. So I think that we could see something parallel to that, where this show is going to have them in this facility for, let's say, 8 episodes again, season 2. 6 episodes at least, them in this facility and doing different things and whatnot. Obviously with outside scenes as well, outside forces doing stuff and all that. So yeah, I think we could be in there for an extended amount of time.
I think they'd for sure be out by episode 3, because they like to do like big, they usually drop their 3-episode arc. So what I could see is by end of episode 2 they get out, and then episode 3 is them in the world and everything. But I think I don't know if they think this way. Probably don't. They think that, okay, we got to write the best story. So that's my hope, is that they're going for the best story. But I do wonder if they go, we should also have them out by this certain point, because if we don't, people might complain. If it was week to week and you're keeping them there for 3 weeks, people could be. very upset. But maybe they will even break them out at episode 3. So that's what I'd say by time, if they do the 3 episodes drop, then by episode 3 they'll be out. I'm not sure if it's in episode 2 or whatnot, but I think by episode 3 they'd be out, because then that'd be half the season. But who knows? Maybe if most of it takes place there and it's all about, like, it's a very One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest sort of situation, maybe majority of the season's there. But I still think we got to follow up on Cade and Sam and other people, and there'll probably have to be some new antagonists. But at the same point, that maybe not, because lots of those deans are dead, the scientist is dead. So yeah, maybe you could just make it about them in this like soups facility that keeps people and just experiments on them and stuff, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, we will be back whenever The Boys or Gen V is happening. If you like what we did here and you've never listened to any of our reviews, you can go back and check out all our thoughts on The Boys. We did that. So, yeah, thank you very much for everyone that listened over the past season. It was tons of fun. Thank you very much, Taylor, for joining me on these reviews. And the next time we hear from you will not be boring.
Bye-bye.